Hey everybody, how's it going? Christian from Treasure Town here, and today in my hands I have a PCGS submission. This is one of my favorite types of videos to do, and a huge shout out and thank you to Gary from WorldClassCoins. He made this possible, sent the package to me, and I'll get it back to him afterward. But before we get into this opening, what we'll do is talk to Gary for about 3 or 4 minutes in a Zoom interview and kind of go over what he's hoping to get out of this submission, and it'll basically explain over there. But he did kind of show me some of the coins raw before he sent them in. There's some really stunning looking pieces. We're going to hope that they grade well, because if they do, it'll be a very, very good result. But there's also some downside potentially. So let's get into the box and see how he did. So here we are with Gary from World Class Coins. Anyways, thanks so much for first being willing to send some of your coins my way. I think it'll be great to just give some people some perspective on how you're thinking about this submission. And it's a pretty, there's some big potential. We could put it that way. But I figure it would be just helpful for people to think like, what went into your mind when you were submitting these coins? Kind of what are the goals? What's the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? What are we going to kind of look for as we unbox these coins when they get back?
So a lot of them are just color coins that I'm trying to get into holders. With color coins, toned coins, rainbow toned coins, they sell a lot more in holders than they do
Mhm.
raw. So I'm just trying to get them in straight graded holders.
Gotcha. And is that a big problem in terms of, with these coins, you mentioned the straight grade holders. For people who might not know, that's when it has, a number grade. It's not going to come back as questionable color or artificially toned. Kind of, what can you, when you're dealing with these coins, do you have a process to screen out something that might be questionable color? Or is it kind of just you hope for the best when you submit? Like, what goes into that on your end?
There are certainly different color patterns that are known to be artificial, and there's different color patterns that people themselves tone. So you kind of have to know what is natural toning to submit a
Hmm.
coin.
Hmm.
Uh, so there's definitely a process. It's not just random.
And you're feeling, you think, pretty good about these submissions, or is there a chance that they were artificially I mean, I've heard people sending in tons of coins that they're confident are, they're original, but then they get a tabbed questionable color or something like that, and the other way around, where there's something that's obviously, has been kind of tinkered with in kind of not a traditionally accepted way. So, what are you thinking? Are there any that seem like more risky coins in the submission to send in, or are there any that seem like it should be a pretty good bet and there's a specific grade that you're hoping to hit where the value will like shoot way up? Like, what are we kind of looking for when we unbox these?
There are actually a couple artificially toned coins in the submission,
Hmm.
like artificial for sure.
Hmm.
Um, I'm just one of them I knew was artificial. I didn't think it would grade. I just wanted the picture
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
because it's really pretty. Yeah.
Cool.
So
And is there one coin that you would say would make or break this submission that we're going to hope comes back in the right grade?
there's a Lincoln cent, a 1927 Lincoln cent that is monster rainbow toned,
Hmm.
um, an album toner, and it if it comes back in a holder, it's probably worth at least a couple $1,000s. Obviously, if it comes back questionable color, you can't really sell it for much.
Gotcha. And our last question before we get into the unboxing is, you mentioned, these could come back questionable color. How many times would you consider cracking a coin out that you think has a reasonable shot at straight grading? Like, would that be a cutoff at 3 times? Would you ever do something 5, 10? Like, at what point do you decide to either cut your losses, or, you think that there is, the value so great if it happens that it's worth sending in tons of time?
Really depends on the coin. It's one of the questions I'm asked most often is how I submit a coin, what tier I submit a coin, different kinds of submission questions. I really just base it coin by coin basis because at the end of the day, it all comes down to finances.
Hmm.
If I submit a coin X amount of times, I would either lose or make X amount of dollars. If I submit a coin 20 times, I'm probably going to lose money. The most I would submit a coin before was 12 times. That's how long it took to make the coin work. I've heard of people submitting in coins 50 times.
Wow.
Um, just depends on the coin.
Awesome. Well, that's really a helpful perspective. And I think I'd love also in the future to get you kind of not just as part of a video, but we can get really in depth in some of your areas of most expertise. So thanks for, again, making this possible. And we'll look forward to A, hopefully getting some good results on these, and B, seeing you in the future.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now all we've got is the tape, but as a fun, interesting note, I did ask Gary after the interview which ones were artificially toned, and he told me, so we'll see if PCGS picked up on that. So here we go. I'm just going to open it back for the first time. Let's see. All right, let's see which way this is going to be. I don't want to reveal the grades because I always think it's fun. So it looks like that. Okay, so that looks like the grade is over there. So we'll be coming from this side, and it looks like the first coin is going to be genuine, not gradable. Now, the ones that are for sure artificially toned are there's an 1882S Morgan and 1987S Penny, and that might be this one, as well as a 1945S Nickel. But this one, the genuine, not gradable, right there, just means that, and we'll take a closer look at the penny, but that they've kind of determined, well, we'll see what their diagnosis is, but I mean, under the bright light, I don't have the best, sometimes the bright light kind of gets in the way here, but you can see just all of the different colors on that coin, and we'll flip it around, and, ooh, there's a 1970, so it appears that this may have actually been naturally toned, but their estimate is that it's not, but wow, look at that. Kind of beautiful coin on a copper one, too, which I think is a little tougher to tone, maybe than the more modern composition, but let's see what they say. It says questionable color, uncirculated detail. So yeah, they're just objecting to the color pattern, but I'm sure that the true view, which you can tell because there's this gold shield, that the picture is going to be gorgeous. But that was not even one of the ones that was determined to be, you know, an artificially toned coin from the beginning. Ooh, and our next one is also going to be genuine, not gradable. This is the Morgan dollar. You know, looks good on this side, but apparently the obverse is really beautiful. Wow. Whoa, that is absolutely a gorgeous coin. Almost no flaws that I can see. And we'll see what it says also questionable color, unk detail. But apparently this was actually purchased in a 67 holder, mint state 67. And I think the hope was to get it to a mint state 68, but it obviously didn't come back that way. But what a gorgeous, I mean, just look at you can see the full colors of the rainbow on this coin. Really gorgeous, and a very clean reverse, obviously. But just interesting to note how sometimes you submit a coin a few times, sometimes it comes back questionable color, and sometimes it is a straight graded coin. Ooh, the next one is also genuine, not gradable. Now, wow, this is a gorgeous looking. Check that out, gorgeous looking nickel, and it looks like, I don't know if that's a lamination error or something, but apparently this is all, this color pattern has been seen and is a method of artificial toning, but it's just like, I mean, it's pretty tough to, that is a really gorgeous coin regardless of if it's artificial or not. I don't know. Tell me in the comments below what you think. A beautiful rainbow tone coin or a strange color toning, something greenish like this. You can see a little bit of rainbow coloring all throughout, but kind of some sort of odd toning. Which one you would prefer? That one's going to be questionable color as well. And this trend is not great. This one, genuine, not gradable. But look at that. Let's just pause for a second here and admire the beauty of that. Just extremely bright, vibrant colors on that coin. But 1927, that was the one we were hoping would, kill it in the submission. That if that went well, the rest of the submission would go well. But that's also going to fall to the demise of questionable color, uncirculated detail. And I can see why. Look at that. Imagine if that, if that's determined ever to be a straight grade coin, I could see some major money being paid for that. Just look at the color there. Well, I mean, this is a really good lesson. That one was not, officially artificially toned, but not people who are very good and very good at making money. Gary does quite well. Not every submission goes their way. This one looks good. I really like the blue on that. Genuine, not gradable yet again. 1937. That's a really pretty blue, though. A very different hue. Very, very, very separate. Very different from how the previous penny looked. But also going to be determined as questionable. But I almost like the blue toning better than the rainbow. I don't know what other people think, but that's that's that coin. And our last one, also going to be genuine, not gradable. Now this is why I do these types of videos. This is the 87 S that I think was determined to have been, he definitely knew that this was coming back artificial. It's like a super pink. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. To get slightly different lighting, but this lighting generally works really well, and you can just see that's like a bright, vibrant pink purple. Questionable color, uncirculated detail. So I mean, it's a great lesson. You could think, maybe they're artificially toned and they might straight grade. Maybe that, maybe you think you have something that's gorgeous and it comes back questionable color. But like when you go over these coins, it's just like the wow factor on how they look. I mean, it's interesting how the grading game ends up meaning that if one of these has, a PCGS MS67 on it, how much more valuable it'll get. None of these, though, were determined to straight grade, so they're probably not going to be sold as they are. The goal will be to get them eventually in one of these holders, and I'm sure that it'll be interesting to continue talking to Gary and getting his perspective as he sends in a lot of coins, because he's definitely had some very successful submissions, but this one, you can't pretend that there was any success really in it at all. Was still good to observe and really valuable video content. The best videos that are informational and kind of teach you are not always going to be the ones where people do well. In fact, a lot of people in the coins industry say that you're going to learn a lot more when you're losing money, because those lessons will stick in your mind. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and get in touch with me on my website, treasuretownYT.com, Facebook, TreasureTown, Instagram @TreasureTownYT, or Twitter @TreasureTown_YT, and I'll look forward to seeing you on some of my future vids.